SportG.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to SportG,
the show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions.
and now here are your hosts.
All right, it's the Fantasy Hack for Week 12. I'm Chris. With me are JR and Jack. Say hello, fellas.
Hey, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to all.
Yeah. I don't know about you guys. I had a great week. I think maybe it's the first time I'm saying 5-0. Everybody won this week. In first place in a couple leagues. Even my 5 and 6 teams, I'm on the bubble for the playoffs, so some winning out could get me in. A great week for me. How about you guys?
8-3 here. I did lose in my big money league though, and only because I ran into a buzzsaw. But overall, 8-3, no complaints.
How about you, Jack?
I had a couple of comebacks. The week was looking bleak, but the late games, night game, and Monday Night Football all saved me, I think. Goff was able to pull through, got his 300 yards. That saved me in one league. I think Rojo, actually not Rojo, who was it? I think it was Evans. Yeah, it was Evans. Caught that touchdown, saved me in another league. So I'm thankful for the late games and Monday Night Football saving my week.
You got to love those weeks where it comes down to Monday night, because that's what fantasy football is all about.
Yeah, it's like you get to watch the game and you have implications in it.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't rally. I ended up losing 132 to 111, and third highest score in the league. And of course, I'm playing one of the big dogs. I played the highest scoring team again. Guess I got to shore up my defense.
Right.
But the other guy had Dalvin Cook, Justin Herbert, Adam Thielen, DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams. So this guy's loaded. He's going to be a big threat to win it all. But I'm 6-5 and tied for second, and the top 3 in the division make it. So I'm in pretty good shape. But Jack's right on my tail. So 2 weeks to play. If I can split, I think I'm in pretty good shape. But play the first place team this week, who has 5 more points on the season than me, but is 9-3. Or no, what is he? 8-3, and I'm 6-5. Oh, I get that bad luck of the schedule, but we all have that happen. You run into that buzzsaw, but 8-3 on the year, on the week. So overall, a good week other than that league. And so let's get into the waiver wires this week. There's a pretty slim pickings, huh?
The lack of waiver wires. I can tell you all the claims I have in are for people that have already been talked about in the waiver wire. I got like a Corey Davis. I got like a Tim Patrick. But other than that, as far as people this week, I've even heard the pros, the guys I listen to talk about. Yeah, I got nothing. Like Field Yates today was just saying.
The good news is there's no bye week, so you should have a full bench to work with. COVID losses notwithstanding, I know there's big concern with that Baltimore Ravens-Pittsburgh Steelers game on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah,
the Ravens had already 2 of their 3 running backs, which is great news for Gus Edwards owners. And if Gus Edwards is available, certainly you can snag him up and plug him in against the Steelers. Good luck with that, but it is going to be a volume play. But other than that, man, it's really, really slim pickings. Really desperate pickups out there. It's a bummer to see Joe Burrow get hurt. Season ending, really pretty brutal. tore ACL and an MCL. So best wishes to him on his rehab and recovery. Hopefully he'll be back next year. He had a pretty solid year for somebody playing for the Bengals. And next man up there, gosh, I hope you don't need to pick up Mr. Finley. But
should we recommend him? Probably not.
Well, he is listed on RotoWire as an option, but I mean he's a warm body. That's about the best. Ryan Finley, of course, Taysom Hill more than likely was picked up last week, but he's another option. And I don't know what to think about the Dolphins. You know, Fitzpatrick came in and looked a lot better than Tua, but I think Tua's going to be back in there at least. They're going to give him another shot.
Yeah, I saw today Tua's job is safe.
Yeah, and I don't know if I agree with that. If I was a Dolphins fan, I'd probably want to try, actually win for a change, but apparently they're going for the youth movement.
You know who else's job is safe? I don't know what you two think about this. Carson Wentz. Apparently Doug Peterson said he's still the starter.
Safe,
yeah, that's a mistake, I think, too. I think at this point in the season, it's time to at least see what you have in Jalen Hurts, see if he's ready to play. I just think this is blind loyalty. Wentz clearly is a deer in the headlights, making poor decisions every week. He's only one part of a much larger problem in Philadelphia, but I'm certainly, as a fantasy owner, I'm cutting bait. I had him on my bench in a couple leagues, but he won't be on any of my rosters after this week. I can tell you that, and I'm pretty desperate, because I'm picking up guys that are pretty borderline backups. But I can't, even as a backup, I can't rely on Wentz. He's just a turnover machine. It's hard to imagine how far this guy's regressed, man. Just a couple years ago was. Could have had an MVP season in his second year, and the year the Eagles won a Super Bowl, and he just seems to have regressed. It's unfortunate, but anyway, yep. I don't know who else you turn to at the quarterback position that's still out there. I did put in a claim for Kirk Cousins in one league, so he might be an option if he's available. But
how about Cam? I've seen him on a couple waiver wires.
Your best chance to get points out of him is with his legs, especially probably touchdown dependent. I don't think he's running for 100 yards a week anymore, but that's the kind of guy that you look at him versus a Wentz and say, who's my better backup? It's tough. There's just really slim pickings.
How about you talked about it, Jared Goff? You've seen him. Should we buy what we saw on Monday? Is that fool's gold, what we saw Monday?
It probably is, but if you're looking at him as a backup on your bench, I think he's an upgrade over the two we just talked about. But you never know. He's not consistent, but at least he has a high ceiling. He's got a pretty good shot to get 300 yards on if he's on. But
a guy I picked up last week, he ended up starting for me because Teddy Bridgewater was activated, then deactivated. Phillip, he's old, but he brought me 23 fantasy points. So it's just there's just
speaking of Mr. Bridgewater, I believe he may be back this week, so that may be another option to take a look at.
But I'm looking at court QBs here who would still be left in waiver wires. Maybe Derek Carr, maybe?
Yeah, I like Derek Carr.
I actually heard on the Sirius XM today they were saying don't sleep on Daniel Jones, if you can believe that.
It's just because there's nothing left.
Well, but also because the Giants actually do seem to be getting a little bit better each week, whereas teams like the Eagles seem to be going backwards. So, take that with a grain of salt. But it's just real slim pickings. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time this week on waiver wires. It's just the quarterback position's pretty slim. Running backs, Gus Edwards is probably the one name this week, and he's going to be on a short week, and he's facing a stellar Pittsburgh defense. So who knows if it's going to work out?
Raheem Mostert is coming off of IR. If he's still, I've seen him on a few leagues I'm in. on the waiver wire. Grab him if you see him. He was just activated today.
Well, that's a good one.
I was going to say Wayne Gallman had 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Eckler.
Niners, I believe Deebo Samuel's coming back, and again, we're reaching pretty far down the fantasy ladder towards the basement there. But
yeah, if you see Austin Eckler on a waiver wire, grab him. He's coming off of IR.
Facing Jalen Ramsey this week is going to be pretty tough too. So
yeah,
Cole Beasley, if he's still open, he's still available. That might be a guy to take a chance on. Alan Lazard, if he's still out there, I think he's been claimed in most of mine.
Is Jamison Crowder still floating around out there? He's sneakily been quite the consistent fantasy receiver this year, just simply because someone's got to get the ball on the Jets. Just looking through.
Even for streaming defenses, it's a tough week. I put some claims in on the New York Giants this week, but I think they're playing the Cincinnati Bengals, aren't they? And of course, with Finley at the helm now, that might be a good streaming defense to pick. But yeah, not much help. So hopefully you have a strong bench and you can turn there. Since there's no bye weeks, you should have a full complementary bench to choose from. And this is why you're in week 12. If you haven't beefed up your bench by now, shame on you.
Yeah,
of course, most leagues have IRs, so if you had COVID guys, I hope you put them on the bench and picked up extra players, giving you extra options. By the same token, if guys are coming off IR, you're going to have to, decide who to let go. But this is if you haven't beefed up your bench by week 12, that's probably on you.
Yeah, you're going to have a rough. Playoffs are going to be rough if you haven't beefed up your bench by now.
Yep. And, as we've alluded to last week, be looking at week 14 and 15 now, because if you're going to make the playoffs, you need to be planning 3-4 weeks out. The most critical week is that week 14. If you get into the playoffs, you don't want to be one and done. So if you haven't already done so, look at your defenses, see who they're playing in those weeks, and try to find a good matchup.
All right.
So let's take a look at the games.
Yeah. A lot of Thursday games this week.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, the Ravens are teetering, but let's look at the first Thanksgiving game. Ooh, it's the Lions, right? Hold on, I'm bringing it up here.
I'm bringing it up too.
Yep, Texans and the Lions.
Are you starting any Lions?
No. Well, but Galladay didn't practice today, so I wouldn't count on him. Swift was limited, so but yeah, and he must start. I don't think you're the only person you are fantasy must starting in this game is Deshaun Watson. I mean, is Matthew Stafford a must start fantasy quarterback?
He's a backup.
No Fuller?
I mean,
Yeah,
we had this debate last week. I'm still on the Fuller train, but I don't know how he did last week. Jack, can you look up his stats? Was Fuller legit last week? Well, while he's looking that up, anybody else in that Houston lineup?
6 catches, 80 yards, no touchdowns.
Yes. See, that's not horrible.
that's a respectable fantasy day. Yeah, that's 14 points.
Isn't Duke still getting the carries at RB1?
Yeah, David Johnson's still out.
Oh, I mean, that's a volume play. He didn't do very good last week, but
Either D. Johnson, Duke, or David is probably a pretty flex at best.
And you know what? I need to apologize. There is another must-start fantasy player in this game. It's T.J. Hawkinson. He's like the 4th best tight end on the year, fantasy-wise. So, my apologies. I've been calling him crappy all year, and yeah, his name right now is after guys like I believe it goes like, well, first of all, it's like Travis Kelce and everybody else. But let me bring up the tight ends here.
Well, I can understand why you were apprehensive about him. The Lions are notorious for drafting tight ends way too high that don't work out. Eric Ebron,
this
was one of those.
This year it goes Kelce, Waller, Andrews, Hawkinson. Now Kittle's in between Waller and Kelsey, but
Surprised Andrews is still that high after his cold streak.
well, I mean, he had a hell of a week this week.
Yes, he did. Thank God.
So yeah, TJ is. I would start TJ Hawkinson, and then the afternoon game. Ooh, yuck.
Yeah, and I normally would say Matt Prater, but he got the big fat goose egg last week.
Mm-hmm.
Washington at Dallas, boy, that's that turkey sleeping game. That's the one you want to sleep through.
As I said, yuck. This is the game. This is the game to be on after dinner.
This is the yams, turnips of the meal here.
Well, at least Zeke's worth having with Andy Dalton at quarterback. So I mean, it's the 2 weeks of despair that you had with Garrett Gilbert and Ben DiNucci when you owned Zeke are over. Zeke looks like he's viable with Andy Dalton. Amari Cooper, what do you do with him? Do you start him? Do you sit him? Is he flex?
I guess it depends what your other options are. I think as high as you drafted him, you're probably going to find a spot for him. But it looks like CD Lamb. I know I cut him in one league in the big league that I'm in. I had him and Zeke, and I just couldn't have two Cowboys during that rough patch. I tried to trade Zeke, no one would take him, so I'm stuck with him. But that might not be bad. I think he's on the upswing. I also just think keep an eye on Lamb. He seems to be even more productive than Cooper lately. Maybe that's we don't have a big sample size with Dalton yet, so that could change. But Washington has a good defensive line, but I think their secondary is suspect. Who knows what we're going to see out of this mess? Yeah, probably good to start either defense.
Yeah. J.D. McKissick, is he a starter? Is he a flex?
You know what? Against Dallas, probably he's worth a look. I wouldn't say every week, but although
I hear his name every week.
Yeah, no, trust me, it's someone I had to pick up in a league just because it was a body.
I think he's a guy that now that there's no bye weeks, he's probably not going to be in many lineups. But you could plug him in against Dallas and give him, you could roll the dice with him.
Well, and I think Gibson's hurt this week, so it might be a good week to start him. Is McLaurin doing anything? Is he a thing this year?
I think he still had a good week. I thought I saw his name up there.
Yeah, I have him in a few leagues. I'm still playing him over. I think I played him over Allen Robinson, actually.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. He's wide receiver 10 on the year. So, yeah. Guess
That's
so.
not bad. That's not bad at all.
Well, I mean, you remember most weeks were like he's the only I almost said it, only football team player watching.
Yeah.
Worth starting, but and that may still be the case actually.
The tight ends, Dalton Schultz.
That's probably
Bottom of the barrel.
People pick up if you can't do better. God bless you, but
he was a bye week fill-in for me that worked out last week. And that's probably it from that game as far as anybody fantasy relevant. And then the night game, that's as of recording this at 10:55 Eastern time on Tuesday. The Ravens and Steelers are still supposed to happen. Steelers receivers, you just start them, right? Like they all seem to work out.
Yeah, it's kind of a dart throw. I mean, Smith-Schuster was hot there for a couple weeks. I think Deontay Johnson was the big one last week. You got Chase Claypool, who's hot and cold. So it's really, against Baltimore, who knows?
They all seem to be getting you at least 15 points a week. I mean, it seems like there's a lot of mouths to feed, but it seems like Big Ben's distributing the ball pretty evenly among his guys.
Even Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
He's had good success. So, yeah, you're probably starting receivers there. And then you got, on the Baltimore side, you got Lamar and you got Gus Edwards. And that's about it. Or Andrews, too, of course.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown, guys on Sirius today were saying it's time to cut bait on him. He's droppable.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, huge disappointment. After a pretty big year last year, hasn't
I cut him last week.
Everybody's saying, as soon as you cut him, he'll have that big 60-yard bomb for a touchdown, and then he'll disappear for the rest of the year. So it's not worth waiting around for that big 60-yarder, especially against Pittsburgh. So
And then going back to the other side of the ball real quick, what do you do with James Conner? Is he must start? Is he flex?
I think it depends on who else is on your roster, but in most teams, he's going to be starting. It's just a volume play there.
But he's not been worth it this year. I mean, middle of the pack is being nice.
Yeah, well, I remember earlier someone asked me, I have a fantasy football page on Instagram, and people ask me questions occasionally. I got a comment saying, who do I start this week? James Conner, Gus Edwards, or Salvin Ahmed? And I genuinely didn't know. I was confused because Ahmed's playing the Jets. James Conner has been so weird this season, and then, Gus Edwards is playing the Steelers. And I'm pretty sure I said Connor because the volume. You just got to do it. It's the only guy you know who's going to get the ball. I really don't know about James Conner. He's been so.
I'd say I'm mad against the Jets because screw it, it's
really?
against the Jets.
I guess.
But that's fantasy football. That's why we play the game.
I believe it's pronounced Ahmed.
That's true.
Oh, it is.
Hearing all the Sirius XM guys. So
is Big Ben a starter?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
He's usually good for 2 or 3 touchdowns a week and probably 250 yards. I don't think he gets over 300 often, but yeah, he could do worse.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Se siente bien saber que cuando le pones sirope a tu Big Breakfast with Hotcakes de McDonald's, tú controlas dónde cae. Verlo acercarse a tu biscuit y rodear tu salchicha calientita, y luego llegar a tus hash browns, y finalmente a tus huevos revueltos, dándoles el sabor dulce del maple, exactamente como te gusta. Que fluya el sirope. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Masspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done. There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Masspeth. And always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
And then moving on to Sunday, Raiders Falcons. And the Raiders are the easy part of this conversation. Let's talk Atlanta. What do you do with any Falcons player?
Vegas supposedly has a suspect defense, although they look pretty good against the Chiefs at times. But then again, that was a track meet, and people were going up and down the field. So yeah. I still think Matt Ryan's a good play here. I think they'll be behind, and it'll be somewhat of a track meet. I know Ryan laid an egg last week. One of the concerns here is Julio Jones. I had him in starting last week, and he went out of the game, and then he had no catches for the longest time. And then they brought him in for one play, made a great catch, limped off to the sideline, never to be seen again. So he's got that chronic hamstring problem where you can't rely on him. I mean, even when he's in game time decision, he's active and he's going to play. That's a couple times this year where he's tried to go and really couldn't gut it out. So beware of Julio. I don't know. I mean, can you really take him out of your lineup? It depends what your options are. I have 4 or 5 good receivers on that roster, and I took him out this week. But I'll be still tempted to put him back in if I hear reports that he's healthy. But it's frustrating because you take him out, and then he has a big game, and then you put him in, and he gets hurt right again. So if you have other options, consider. I think Ridley's back healthy. That helps.
Yeah.
Russell Gage, probably not
no.
viable starter. Todd Gurley, I have him too, and he's not very reliable. Probably touchdown dependent. He's not getting 100 yards anymore like he used to. But, the running backs are kind of thin in the league, and if you have them on your roster, there's a good chance you're going to probably play them. Vegas isn't a stellar defense, so probably roll the dice with him. And, what about Hayden Hurst, man? Just don't see that working out very well.
Speaking of middle of the pack, yeah, I mean, he's he is slotted for the year right between Dallas Goedert and Dalton Schultz. So that should kind of tell you everything you need to know.
Yep. If you got another
Hurst.
He's on a couple of my rosters, but I don't know if he started more than bye-week replacement. Hopefully you have a better option at tight end. On the other side of the ball, though, you got Darren Waller. Team. That's a must start. Josh Jacobs is a must start. Derek Carr, probably not. Hopefully not. Hopefully you have a better option.
And
out for Nelson Aguilar. He has had some good games. He's probably not going to be your 100 yards and 2 touchdown guy, but if you need a guy that'll get you 8 or 10 points, he's been pretty reliable there. He could be a flex, probably not taking up a wide receiver spot. And then likewise, Ruggs is just the boom or bust. He's the long ball guy, and if you take a look at him, he's just not consistent. I parted ways with him on a few rosters over the last few weeks, and that should do it for that game, I believe.
I'm trying to find. Yeah, Nelson Aguilar is the highest ranking Raiders fantasy receiver, and he is on the second page of rankings.
Yeah,
on ESPN.com.
So maybe a flex, maybe.
Yeah. He's between guys like Deebo Samuel and MVS. Chargers, Bills. My 2 quarterbacks in one league. I mean, so
those are two good. There's just 2 good quarterbacks to have on a fantasy roster for sure.
Yeah, this is going to be a shootout. Yeah, I mean, I consider both QBs locked in starters at this point.
Amen. I consider no running backs for either team are really above and beyond. If you're starting Zach Moss or Devin Singletary, God bless you.
Yeah.
And if you're starting any Chargers running back, God bless you, because
Kalen Ballage has been a great Band-Aid for me in the absence of CMC. He's been somebody I found a couple weeks ago. He's been giving me respectable fantasy numbers. Now I know Austin Eckler comes back and destroys all that, but it might be worth another week to hold on to Ballage if Eckler comes back, simply because they're just working him back into the scheme and all that. But overall, I'm with you, JR. No Chargers RBs. Although Keenan Allen
looks good.
You talk about somebody who's been quietly done something. He is wide receiver 3 on the year right now.
Wow.
Yeah, Sunday was a big day for him. Yeah, it goes Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big news there.
Mm-hmm. So
Hunter Henry.
Sunday helped him out a lot. Yeah.
Hunter Henry's a viable starter when Herbert seems to go to him a lot. Mike Williams, maybe, as a flex.
Yeah.
It's probably a step above an Aguilar.
Then on the Bills, besides Josh Allen, you want Diggs. He's definitely glad he got out of Minnesota. He's the only game in town now. He doesn't have to share the spotlight with Adam Thielen. But then really, though, on this Buffalo offense, who else do you want? Maybe Beasley? He's a flex?
Beasley or John Brown. John Brown is one of those, boom or bust.
Never know.
Yeah, he's usually more on the bust side of things, too.
Yep.
And then, no Bills tight end.
Nope.
Yuck. The Giants and the Bengals.
And the Joe Burrow-less Bengals, not the less. So that's why a lot of people are picking up the Giants defense. Ryan Finley, it's getting the start for the Bungles.
Probably a good week to own Giovanni Bernard, because when in doubt, just give it to the running back.
And probably a big downgrade for Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want a Cincinnati passing game. I don't know there's going to be much of a passing game. But we'll see what Mr. Finley can come up with. And what do you do with the New York Football Giants? I mean, maybe Wayne Gallman?
You do nothing.
flex, if that.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is a pine rider at best. You don't want him starting in your lineup if you can avoid that. Yeah, not much to like. You know, maybe Evan Engram.
If you're starting a Giant, you got problems. Your season's over if you're starting a New York Giant. You're playing. You're already in the consolation bracket.
It almost goes for anybody in the entire NFC East.
You're right. Titans Colts. Man, the Colts, huh? The people left them for dead, and quietly, one of the they're going to be one of the storylines from this season. You know, they left Phillip Rivers for dead, and yeah, this should be a good game. So Colts, who are we starting? Is Michael Pittman a thing now?
A little bit.
I'm rolling the dice on him.
Yeah, I cut Marquise Brown for him last week, and he delivered.
Is he still on waivers? Could he have been mentioned earlier?
He may be.
Maybe in lesser deep leagues.
What was their stats last week, Jack? I think he had a pretty solid.
He did have a good. Yeah, he had a good game.
I think he had like 60 or 80 yards of touchdown. It was a pretty respectable, nothing earth-shattering. But so looking for him, I think Trey Burton also hit the end zone, didn't he? Or was
3 catches, 66 yards, and a touchdown for Pittman.
Okay. More importantly, he's now the number one receiver there, and T.Y. Hilton is an afterthought. I don't know what happened to him, but he's pretty much faded from fantasy relevance at this point. And I don't know what you do. Every time I give up on Jonathan Taylor, he has a decent game, and that's exactly what happened this week. I benched him, and then when I put him in the lineup, he's invisible. It's been very frustrating having a Colts running back. Nyheim Hines is getting a lot of activity. You got Jordan Wilkins in there. You got that three-headed monster, and you never know which one's going to do anything. And
it's because the coach rides the hot hand.
So that's a really tough. That's a tough situation. But I have Taylor on a couple teams. I can't ignore him. But it's roulette every week. It's just a roulette spin of the wheel.
Titans. What's going on with Tannehill? Like, he started the season, I mean, they're 7-3, so, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. But, like, he started the season as one of the hot fantasy, waiver wire pickups, and he has just been bleh.
What about A.J. Brown?
Yeah. No, he's a starter. You have A.J. Brown, you're starting him.
Oh, man, I benched him last week. I still won, but still.
And I heard the Corey Davis name earlier in the waivers. That means you must be really thin.
But he's been a thing this year.
He comes through every few weeks.
Yeah.
Just not consistent.
And then Jonnu Smith, quietly, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Tight end 5 on the year. If you take out the IR guys. I mean, he kind of went quiet in the middle of the season, but the last couple of weeks, he's shown signs of life.
Did he get banged up?
Not this week. He did at the beginning of the season.
I'm going to do a quick health check on him. I'll let you know if I see anything. Here we go. Let's see. 4 receptions for 20 yards and a touchdown last week. Doesn't say anything about an injury, so he must be okay.
Hey, for tight ends, that's awesome.
Yep. So, yeah, he's a viable starter. We've mentioned before, there's a lot of tight ends out. The pool of good tight ends, quality tight ends is limited. Mm-hmm. With Kittle being out. Andrews seems to have come back, and, of course, Kelsey's always money in the bank. But after that, it's a crapshoot.
I mean, this year, Kelsey's his own category.
Yep.
It's as far as tight ends, it's Travis Kelce and everybody else.
You got to give the Kelsey brothers credit because his brother, the center for the Eagles, Jason Kelsey, he came out of the game, refused to go into the medical tent. He hyperextended his elbow, and like 5 minutes later, he was back in the game, gutting it out.
Yeah.
So it was, say what you will, the Kelsey brothers are durable and reliable.
Yeah.
It's Kelsey, best tight end in the game, no question.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk more about him when we get to the Chiefs.
Wow, really? Really? Straight up. You can say that. No argument. No Kittle argument either?
Kittle ain't playing.
Can't stay healthy.
Oh, no. But I'm saying, like, when everybody's healthy, you think Travis Kelce's the best tight end in football?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll take him over Kittle in a heartbeat. He's durable, reliable, money in the bank. Kittle's great when he's in, but not always in.
Yeah. Panthers Vikings. Speaking of great when he's in, god damn, looks like another game without CMC.
Like Davis owners, I've got 3 or 4 teams with Davis in, and every week I'm like, well, we've been a good run. CMC's coming back, but he only came back for that one game, and you got to start him against that Minnesota defense, and especially that Minnesota secondary is terrible. This could be a good game for Carolina receivers. Might be a good week to pick up Curtis Samuel if you're desperate for a receiver.
Yeah.
DJ Moore. I've been plugging him in and out, and whenever I take him out, he has a big game. I've just decided he's in the rest of the season for me. I'm not going to play that game anymore. So DJ Moore, you've proven yourself. Another big day, over 100 yards last week, and should do well against a porous Minnesota secondary. Davis, the aforementioned Davis. I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. It doesn't seem to matter.
I mean, Bridgewater almost played Sunday, so my guess is he's going to play. But it's yeah, who knows? And then the
Minnesota, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
Thielen is out this week.
Well, he's on the COVID list. He could be, and they haven't it at least as of when we started recording, it hasn't been cleared whether or not he's on the I was near somebody COVID list or the I have COVID list.
He was part of the onslaught against me last week, and of course Monday they say, "Oh, he's on the COVID list." I'm like, "Of course." After he shreds me,
good. As an Adam Thielen owner, the last month he has had like 2 or 3 weeks in a row of under 10 points. It's about damn time. Is what I will say as a Thielen owner.
Yeah. But he certainly had a great game the other day. At least Jefferson got one in, because I had Jefferson in my lineup against Thielen and the other team. But
he can't stop this year. Dalvin Cook. Is he? No. It's going to be between him and Kamara for the.
Only Dalvin Cook can stop Dalvin Cook, and that's his health. If he stays healthy, he's a machine.
It's going to be between him and Kamara for fantasy MVP this year.
I think Cook's lining up to be next year's number 1 pick.
Yeah.
The draft. He'll probably be the top prospect out of everybody next year.
I don't know. CMC still could be in play. CMC, Kamara, and Dalvin Cook are the top 3 next year.
Yeah, well, after the injury to CMC this year. Yeah, exactly.
He's only played 3 games. Trust me. He's been killing me in the Sporgy League. Yeah.
But if he comes in next year completely healthy, we know what he's capable of. He'll certainly be well rested and hopefully well healed. But
well, he's lining up to be back for the fantasy playoffs at least.
I wonder how James Robinson will do in the draft next year. I wonder how high he'll go.
Probably late first round, early second.
Yeah,
yeah. He's gonna have the stigma of he's on the Jags. That'll probably push him a round or 2 lower than he should go. Let's see, Cardinals Patriots.
Wonder what the weather will be like for that one.
Yeah, it's in Foxborough.
Be interesting to see how Kyle Murray can play in the elements, especially the passing game.
You mean
we all know he can run, but
fantasy football's current QB1, Kyler Murray, he's better than Mahomes at this point.
Well, one thing Jack told me after I benched a couple players because of when I benched Rodgers because of weather. Stop over analyzing weather.
It's the weather.
Forget about whatever. If it's snowing in New England, who cares? Kyler Murray can produce points. Mm-hmm. Probably right.
Yeah, I mean he's averaging more than Mahomes. He was averaging more than Prescott. I mean I
think I was listening to Arizona Sports Radio the other day, and they said, Kyler Murray is the Cardinals' best running back.
Yeah,
that's a fact. And I thought for sure Edmonds was going to take the job when Drake got hurt, and they're about even now with carries. But Drake actually had a better day the last week. I don't know. Edmonds never seemed to really, take that opportunity and run with it. So now you got a two-headed monster, and probably a two-headed monster that's more Drake than Edmonds.
Mm-hmm.
So, but of course, I have both of them on my roster, and I think I'll be going with Drake if you give me my choice of the two. Is there any Patriots worth starting? Rex Burkhead,
No.
gone season.
The week I finally pick them up and use them.
What about Damian Harris? He seems to be pretty reliable the last month.
Well, now it's going to be that's all that's left because Sony Michel was active but out. So I mean, yeah, I guess maybe it's Damian Harris's job to lose at this point. So pure volume play.
Yep, and that's about it in New England.
Yeah, and then Cardinal. We said D-Hop for the Cardinals, right?
Yeah.
We didn't have to say that. That's Mr. Automatic.
Yeah. Dolphins, Jets.
One concern with D-Hop is going against Belichick. I'm sure he'll double and triple team him.
Yeah, it might be a good game to have Captain Kirk.
Sure. Yep.
And Dolphins, Jets. Speaking of, Devontae Parker, is that really is Ahmed a flex in this game?
I suppose.
It is the Jets.
It's the Jets, yes.
You know,
the stock goes up twice by 2.
It's a shame that Fitzpatrick isn't starting because I think you could probably put 400 yards up on these guys. So we'll see what happens to Tua. Maybe they just want to boost his confidence and put him back in. Even Tua will probably have a good game against the Jets. Everybody has a good game against the Jets.
Yeah.
I could probably suit up and have a good game against the
right.
Jets.
Yeah.
So normally you're like start everybody against the Jets, but who really can you start from this Dolphins roster?
Yeah, there is no. Like Devontae Parker is like the starter.
I wonder if you start Gesicki.
No, he's just.
I will say that I was watching that game, and as soon as Fitzpatrick did game, he threw to Gesicki like 3 out of the next 6 plays. So keep an eye on that. Maybe that's what's wrong with Gesicki since Fitzpatrick has gone out. I don't think Tua looks to him very often. And maybe they're using him as a blocker more with Tua. Who knows?
He is one of the. Make a list of fantasy busts this year. He's on it. He compared to where he was drafted, he was supposed to be one of the top tier tight ends this year, and he is clearly one of the bottom tier tight ends this year.
Hard to argue with that. I know we always say don't start any New Yorkers, but the ageless Frank Gore. Is that worth a start?
I mean, you got to be hurting to start.
He might
Frank
be
Gore
out on the waiver wire. So if you need a volume play, there's no one left. They cut Balaj. He's in San Diego now.
Yeah.
Who's even on the roster? Isn't
LaMichael Pirine just went to IR.
Yeah.
He's out.
Yeah.
There's nobody left, literally. So, I mean, somebody's got to run the rock. I mean, he's not going to get you 100 yards. He might get 50, 60 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah,
That's probably what you can expect. He might give you 10 points if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm. Browns, Jaguars.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, the Browns running backs.
This is the game that they show to prisoners in prison.
Right. I mean,
just like the Cincinnati game too.
Yeah.
And this will be competing with the Cincinnati game in prison.
Chubb and Hunt, James Robinson, DJ Chark, and that's it, right?
Yeah, I don't think David Njoku, Austin Hooper.
Yeah, neither of those, and no Jarvis Landry, nope. Drop of In Peoples Jones.
That Hodges guy always gets catchy. That Hodges guy always catches a ball here and there, or maybe it was just the Eagles' terrible defense. But I mean, he's not fantasy relevant.
Just no Cleveland pass catchers.
That's right.
No.
It's gambling.
At least they're not in Cleveland this week, where the last 3 games have been mud baths.
Yeah.
Jacksonville should be much better weather, but I don't think it's going to matter much. I don't think either team's going to have much of a passing attack.
Yeah.
You might get lucky with Chark. That's about it.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Masspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to fit sold.
Pop stars with auto-tune.
Yeah.
And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth. And always open at homedepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Saints Broncos. Did either of you get caught in the Taysom Hill trap this week where you ended up taking on a team that was starting two quarterbacks against you?
No, but I did put him in the Sporgy League. I picked him up and plugged him in at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I won by like 20 points, and he got me 24. So that might have helped me to win. Now, I did. They were talking about this again on Sirius when I was listening today, and they were very adamant that ESPN has changed Taysom Hill into a quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Well, because
you can't make any moves on your entire lineup or roster until you remove him from the tight end. And there's always idiots calling in, well, I'm leaving him there. We'll see if the points count. And they're like, don't be that guy.
Yeah.
He is on your tight end. Be thankful you got him for 1 week. But it's time to take him out.
Yeah.
And if ESPN doesn't fix it, your commissioner can. So I had him in 2 ESPN leagues, including the Sporgy League, and he's now on my bench as a quarterback. I don't know. It was a gift for 1 week, but that the party's over.
So is he a starter?
I think he could be. I don't know if I would do it this week. I'd want to see more. The other thing is he's at Denver. That's a little bit different environment than the Dome. I'm not putting him in a lineup as a starter yet. He's a backup. There's a couple leagues where I had Breeze, and I originally picked up Winston, thinking he would be the guy, and then I picked up Hill. So right now he's a backup on a couple of my rosters. Hopefully you don't have to start him, but he's an intriguing option. He scored 2 touchdowns and got over 200 yards passing. I didn't see much of the game. I saw some highlights, but I heard he was very accurate, surprisingly accurate for passing, probably more accurate than Winston would have been. So it's a good wait and see, but I would not be putting him in the lineup at Denver. I want to see more of a sample size. But I did hear that it's probably going to be at least week 15 till Breeze is back, so if at all.
Hey, either way.
Fractured ribs is pretty rough.
Yeah. Either way, welcome back, Michael Thomas, though. If you drafted him in the first round, this week you're finally going, it's about damn time.
Yep.
But as far as Saints, that's it, right? Kamara, Thomas, that's it.
Yep, and I was interesting. I keep going back to Sirius XM, but the guys on the show I listened to today have officially given up on Jared Cook. So I know I stick up for him every week, and you kind of call him out. Well, I think you won that battle. I think it's time to bench him.
He is below Mike Gesicki.
Yeah.
He's between Mike Gesicki and Jordan Akins on tight ends for the year. So take that and do what you want with it.
Yep. It's time to cut bait on him. If you got him, I hope you got somebody more reliable.
Broncos. What Broncos are starters? Any of them?
Well, you know what? I know this is a real reach, and it's probably a flex at best, but quietly, KJ Hamler is kind of getting a lot of targets out there in the slot. Melvin Gordon had a decent week. I think.
Great week. He had 2 touchdowns, I think.
He did. Almost a third one, too. So Gordon came back from the dead, and, of course, Lindsey had, no carries the week before and got a lot of carries this week. But I don't know if I trust that Denver running game, especially against a good defense like New Orleans. If you recall, a few weeks back, I started both Denver running backs on the same roster 2 weeks in a row and got, almost no production. Last week I cut it back to Gordon and did okay, but yeah, I don't know. That Denver running attack just doesn't seem to be consistently good. I don't think Jerry Jeudy's a viable starter. Noah Fant's probably a good tight end selection, but and I know I brought up Hamler. That's just a name to watch for depth. He's kind of flown under the radar as a guy that they go to him in the slot and he gets a lot of yards after the catch. He's little. Kind of a little speedster, got a lot of speed. But not much to really be looking forward to in Denver. There's no surefire, got to have it. Maybe Fant be the one guy that stands out.
49ers, Rams. This is a much better...
A single 49er that I can reliable start right now.
Yeah, this was a much better matchup a month and a half ago.
Start your Rams. They looked like a machine, the other night. But again, every time you think, boy, the Rams are looking like that Rams team that went to the Super Bowl, then they lay an egg the next week. So.
I can't confidently say to start any Rams. I mean, Kupp and Woods, yeah. I mean, they're obviously, but just...
No running backs.
Yeah. Then the Niners, yeah, I mean, Raheem Mostert is the only 49er I would say to start with confidence. But yeah, everybody else. Chiefs Buccaneers.
Coming back.
What's that?
Deebo Samuel's supposed to be back.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Are we not men? We are Deebo.
Speaking of men, Chiefs Buccaneers. This should be the night game in my opinion, but it's not. But maybe Tom needs to not play at night so he can, win a game. Yeah, Chiefs, I mean, Mahomes, Cheetah, Kelsey. I mean, those guys are just locked in at this point. By the way, Travis Kelsey, maybe I've said this on the show, maybe I've said it on, I haven't, maybe I have. There are 21 other guys out in that field who are large, and Travis Kelsey makes him look small. I'm just saying. He looks like he makes he just makes all those other guys look tiny. He is a large dude, and he's locked in at your tight end spot. Buccaneers. Brady still locked starter?
Yeah.
I don't see how you don't play him.
Probably, but with concern. And throwing a lot more interceptions than normal.
Now, how about the rest of the Bucs offense? Who is a starter?
You know what? It looks more and more every week like AB is getting more and more looks. Even a lot of incompletions this week. I don't know what his targets were, but it seemed like he was targeted more than everybody. But, Evans and Godwin each got a touchdown, and Brown didn't. But they went to Brown a lot, so that's almost a problem because those guys are all good, and you don't know which one's it's going to be. It's a three-headed monster that. I've been starting Evans, and the last 2 weeks he's gotten in the end zone. Godwin had that really great touchdown towards the end of that game. Actually won one of my leagues that I was behind in. So that was one of those Monday night comebacks, and I was down to the last 5 minutes of the game when that happened. So that was exciting. But can you really bench a Godwin or an Evans? It's tough. But AB is definitely vulturing a lot of those targets that used to go to those guys. So.
And he's good at football. Once he gets warmed up, you got to think he's still in his preseason.
Yep, and it looks like he's getting phased in more and more each week. So
yeah,
beware if you're an Evans and Godwin owner.
What do you do with Gronk?
Touchdown dependent. I mean, it depends what tight end you have on your roster. I hope you have a better option, but if you don't, you can start him with. He is a good red zone target. But the days of his 100 yards I don't think he's approached 100 yards, gotten close this year, has he?
At this point, he's like a vanity, like roster holder, right? Like, oh hey, look, I have Gronk, but he's not really doing anything for you.
For the tight end position, if you can get a touchdown and 30 yards out of him, that's 9 points.
Yeah, well, he's averaging 8.6.
Yeah, so that's what you're going to get with him. You're not going to get a 20-point week like the old Gronk.
Yeah,
but you're not going to probably lay an egg either. You're probably going to get at least 5 points out of him.
Yeah, he's not like Kelsey. You're not like it's not like having another receiver.
Exactly.
Bears and Packers. I think the Bears are slowly descending to where I think they should be.
Yeah. That big hot start and that big record they had is fizzling away, and we're seeing the Bears are who we thought they were.
You starting any Bears right now? I mean, with all the uncertainty at quarterback, is Allen Robinson? Is he like what? Is he a flex?
Yeah, it depends on who's on your roster. I'd still probably start him. I mean, they got to throw the ball to somebody.
Yeah,
I'm not starting Montgomery. I've never been on his bandwagon, and I'm not about to start now. Foles got hurt at the end of the game last week. He's supposed to be back okay, but that looked pretty ugly. Who knows if he'll be 100%. Yeah, I'd kind of avoid that whole Chicago mess if you can. Robinson's the only iffy, and even he's not that's only if you got no other option. And then Green Bay, of course, you got Aaron Rodgers, no-brainer Devontae Adams, no-brainer Aaron Jones.
And Robert Tonyan having another great week just to confuse everybody.
Don't buy that. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
And that's it on Green Bay. I mean, Lazard, well, he was his first week back, but still very underwhelming. MVS is MVS. He's going to give you 10 or less.
Boom or bust.
Yeah. And then Monday night, Seahawks and Eagles.
Well,
Jack, you're
can't hear you, Jack.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on, I fixed it. Okay, there
you
is.
go.
I fixed it.
What'd you say?
So why do we have the Monday night game? Really, the Bucks and Chiefs are playing? It's like the matchup of the year. You're not playing that?
Yeah.
Instead, we get to watch this putrid, disgusting excuse for a football team get rolled by the Seahawks.
Monday night football is not the marquee game anymore. It's the Sunday night game. That's why they flex the Sunday games. Monday night football is an afterthought now, and the Thursday games are usually pretty poor too.
They're usually a joke.
But this game will be on Monday night, and hey, at least I can enjoy my Sunday and just watch Red Zone this week.
You just brought up some good points. The games that I have been staying up for in the last couple of years have been the Sunday night games. I can't tell you when the last time I've actually, maybe the first Monday night game of this season is the one I'll watch. But generally I'll check in on it, but I won't watch the whole thing. The one I'll stay up like this Sunday. It was appointment viewing this Sunday, watching the Chiefs and the Raiders. I made sure I stayed up. But yeah, the Monday night has been yawn, and this week's going to be yawn. Seattle, you're starting Russell. You're starting Tyler Lockett. What's going on at running back with Seattle?
DK Metcalf. Running back, I don't know. Is Carson back?
He's supposed to be, but he's supposed to have been back for the last 2-3
My
weeks.
My philosophy on the Seattle running game is I am only starting someone. I'm not starting any of those other guys until if Carson comes back. You start him. The other guys are, they're like, Hail Mary fill-ins. Probably touchdown dependent, all of them. Travis Homer, DJ Dallas. I don't want any of those guys. But when Carson's back and he's 100% and he's in the starting lineup, by all means, he's a reliable starter for you. Then you got Metcalf, got to have him. Lockett, got to have him.
I forget about him. Metcalf.
Probably not doing any tight ends on Seattle. Russ is going to cook. He's going to cook. Probably going to cook up a 5-course meal against the Eagles. And I don't know what you do with Philadelphia. Wentz is just a head case and a turnover machine. Probably the Seattle defense might be a good pickup this week, and that's generous because they're not a very good defense this year, as many people know. But my gosh, Wentz was responsible for 9 points last week. He gave up a pick six and a safety. by not throwing the ball away in the end zone. You know, he's still holding the ball too long. It's ugly to watch. It's ugly to watch. Jack sometimes has to leave the room because he can't even put up with my yelling at the TV and whining about.
But Jack wore his Wentz jersey to school today. He's a loyal fan.
No, I'm a loyal fan, but you know, I know ugliness when I see it, and Wentz has got to be replaced, man. He's
come on.
It hurts to get a shot.
No.
2 bad weeks for Travis Fulgham. Is he over?
Yes.
Yeah, I think now that, you know, some of the big dogs are back, unfortunately, you know, there's not enough balls to go around, and he actually got a couple balls thrown his way that he dropped this week, which was uncharacteristic. But you know, it was a pouring rain in Cleveland at like 39 degrees, so that was probably a factor. But Dallas Goedert, I think he's probably a viable starter this week. You know, assuming that Ertz isn't back yet.
And Miles Sanders, the only person that's really locked in on the Eagles' offense.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Alshon Jeffrey was an absolute nothing as he's been. He might as well just stay injured because he contributed absolutely nothing the last 2 games since he's been back in the lineup. So don't go out and pick him up. It would be on name only. Who else is back? Jack, who's receivers?
I mean, Trash the same from what I've seen. I don't see anybody coming back. I don't see anybody here.
Jalen Rieger, yeah.
He's going
to be like the Ruggs of this team, you know, a boomer bust, a Hollywood Brown, you know. So, yeah, I don't know. Fulgham, I would not have him in the lineup this week. Seattle does have a suspect secondary, but it's not going to matter much when Carson Wentz is overthrowing everybody. And when he does nail his receiver and the numbers they seem to be dropping. Not much to be excited about as an Eagles fan other than probably Dallas Goedert and Miles Sanders. That's probably it.
Wow. All right. So that's it. That's week 12.
It's time for bold predictions.
It's time to be bold.
My favorite segment.
So, Chris, you picked Indianapolis over Green Bay. How'd that work out?
Hell yeah. Gotta love the field goal. That's what, 4 in a row?
It's at least 3 in a row. I got them all here. You're on a roll. And you know, and I was on a roll for a while, and I'm going the opposite direction. I picked the Cardinals over Seattle, so I missed that, and Jack picked Jacksonville over Pittsburgh.
And to my credit, wasn't it close? I thought the game would be closer than it was. I didn't actually think they were going to win, but I couldn't figure out who to pick at the time, so I picked the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jack did get this one right, although controversy is really for the wrong reason. He said Jameis Winston would have no. That is correct.
That is correct.
So technically he got it, but it's kind of an asterisk on that one. But since I paid Taysom Hill at quarterback in a couple ESPN leagues, I guess a win's a win, right?
Yeah.
Chris, you missed on the Herbert pick, but not by much. You said 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. I think he got like 360 and.
Yeah.
I think 3 touchdowns, didn't he?
Yeah, he got 3. Yeah, he got 3 touchdowns, but he has 366. I was like, damn it, I missed it. He could have had one more bomb.
And I have myself Matt Ryan with 2 touchdowns. I thought it just says 2 touchdowns, but I think I must have said 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. But that was a bust because he had a terrible day. So I got nothing right. So I'm in a pretty bad slump on the bold predictions. So I'm going to have to really turn this thing around. So good job, Chris. You're on a roll. I'll let you go first. Maybe that's why you get the first pick every week. Maybe that's why you're doing so.
We're probably going to come to a screeching halt this week. But give me the Chargers over the Bills.
Ooh. Good pick.
I still have a propensity to want to put San Diego for Chargers, but I put LAC.
I like that Chargers defense.
I like their quarterback, that's for sure.
Yeah. Their quarterback combined with that defense, I think it's going to be a shootout, and I think it's going to be close. But I think the Chargers are going to win.
I got to pull up my odds here to do these because
I got them up. If you just want to,
I got them.
All right.
You can go though, Jack. I'll let you go second. I'll have to peruse the menu here.
I mean, Bills are -6, and -6. Good pick. Let's see here. Rams favored by a touchdown. Man, Chiefs only favored by 3.5.
And some really odd lines here.
It's pretty even this week. There's not that many lopsided.
Really? Yeah. Cardinals only favored by 2 points in Foxborough, really?
Well, I'm going to take my pick because I know it and I don't want to lose it. I am going to take the Carolina Panthers on the road to beat the Vikings. They're 4-point underdogs. I just think if Bridgewater comes back especially, I saw some fight in that Carolina team a couple weeks ago, and I'm not sold on Minnesota, although I am taking a risk because since Dalvin Cook's been back, they've been a much different team. I just have a hunch that the Carolina Panthers can do it. So that's going to be my bold prediction pick. The 4-point underdog Carolina Panthers over the Vikings in Minnesota. So, you got the rest of the menu available.
Well, I know it seems like I'm preying on their downfall, but I mean, give me the Ravens this week. Steelers lose. I know it's so hard to pick against the best team in football, but I just think it's the end of the road. We always see it every year. Some team looks like they're undefeated, all undefeated talks, and then they lose like 1 or 2 games towards the end of the season. So I think this is what happens right here. I think the Ravens finally wake up. The run, I have a friend who's a big Ravens fan telling me how the D-line has been hurt. The run blocking hasn't been very good. I mean, the run defense hasn't been very good. I believe a couple of those guys on the D-line are coming back. I think Gus Edwards is better than people think he is. So give me the Ravens this week in Pittsburgh.
Wow. That is bold.
Yes, that is bold.
Bold. That's bold. How about
name of the segment? All right. An individual. Give me the GOAT with 303 touchdowns.
Wow. That is a bold.
Coming off an embarrassing Monday night performance. He's going to be pissed.
302 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns?
3 touchdowns.
Okay,
one to each receiver.
That's pretty bold. I am going to say that I just had it and now I forgot. Well, gosh, I can't do that again. I did Matt Ryan last week. I was going to say that he's going to have a big game against Vegas, but I'm not going with Matt Ryan 2 weeks in a row. He's too inconsistent. So let's say that James Robinson is going to find the end zone and get 100 yards against the Cleveland Browns because he's all they got in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
100 yards and a touchdown for James Robinson. And if they score a touchdown, that'll be more points than they scored all last week against the Steelers.
You think Minshew's getting his job back?
I do.
Yeah, after 4 picks last week, Luton blew it.
Amazing things happen when they get tape on a player.
Yeah.
They find some tendencies and teams give stuff away.
Man. Looking at the list of games here. We got. Man, you're right. It is pretty even this week.
I got a joking prediction. The Lions.
And what is that?
Score points this week.
Oh. The Lions.
Lions are 2-point favorite? No, that's what it opened at.
No, Texans are 3.
3. The line moved 5 points. Smart bettors went all over Houston. Well, give us something, Jack.
I got it. All right.
Okay.
This is a bold prediction. I think Flacco is 300 yards.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm betting a Jet.
Wow. That is.
Dude, Flacco.
That is bold.
I didn't hear any touchdowns in there, but
you didn't. 300 yards. I don't care if he has 5 picks.
Bet because they're going to be behind and they're going to have to throw the
Exactly.
Well, that's a bold one. It's a good one.
All right.
There you have it.
That's bold predictions. They're locked. Thanksgiving week. So, set your lineups early. A lot of football on Thursday. Follow us on Twitter at The Fantasy Hack. Like us on Facebook as well. We're there answering questions on Twitter. A guy this week asked us asked us to pick 2, Chark Myers and Pittman Jr. I told him Chark and Pittman Jr. I think history says we're on the right side of that one. So,
Yep.
yeah. So,
Hit us up.
Yeah, so if we're there and it says if we're taking questions, hit us up. Also, the fantasy hack at ChristopherMedia.net if you'd like to email your questions. ChristopherMedia.net is where there's an Amazon banner. You click through it while you're doing all your Christmas shopping. It can help us out while we get a little piece of what you buy, and it doesn't add anything extra to your bill. Everybody wins. And if you just want to drop out pretense and give us cash, there's a PayPal button you can click through, and you can also subscribe using that. Listen to us everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, Stitcher, the iHeartRadio app, Spreaker.com, ChristopherMedia.net. If you just want to cut out the middleman, if it catches an RSS feed, that's where you can find us. So have a happy Thanksgiving, and we'll catch you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Stay safe out
Turkey.
there.
Si tú y tus amigos ordenan de McDonald's juntos, deja que los demás agarren su comida primero. Yo sé, el solo pensar en el olor de las papitas y tener que esperar para meter tu mano en la caja y sacar unas suena loco. Pero por regla, si eres la última persona que sostiene la bolsa, entonces las papitas que se cayeron al fondo de la bolsa son tuyas. La paciencia paga, amigos. Para pa pa pa.
There's a new Home Depot now open on Maurice Avenue in Maspeth. And as home improvement projects go, this is a big one. Use the product locator on our app for an in-store map to find what you need fast. And check out our new pickup lockers. They make online shopping a breeze. Of course, one thing's not new, our everyday low prices. The Home Depot, now open near Maurice Avenue and Long Island Expressway in Maspeth, and always open at HomeDepot.com. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.